Hello everyone, I'm John Furry, your host of theCUBE here at our NYSE studios, part of our NYSE Wired program, of course theCUBE coverage at our Palo Alto studio here in New York, connecting Wall Street and Silicon Valley. Got a CUBE alumni back here as part of our mixture of experts and tech coverage. Marco Palladino, CTO and co-founder of Kong. Marco, great to see you. You had a big event, theCUBE covered it. You guys, you're in the gateway business again, staying in that API gateway. You get MCP server, a lot of great announcements. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in remotely. You're in San Francisco, I'm in New York. Normally it was the other way around, so great to see you.
No, thanks for being here, John. It's always a pleasure.
All right, so let's get into it. Obviously, everyone knows in the CUBE audience, we've been covering Kong for a long time. API gateways is an area you guys are very strong in, leading. MCP has been the hottest area. It's one of the highlights of the show. Give us a quick overview of what happened last week at the summit. You guys had some big announcements. I love the MCP one. Give us a quick overview, hit the news real quick.
Last week we had our yearly API summit with customers and practitioners from all over the world. It was actually quite amazing, lots of energy, and we did make lots of product announcements. I believe that if I were to choose one, perhaps the AI gateway, the new version of the AI gateway with MCP gateway support, it's one of the biggest announcements that we made. As you know, MCP is the new REST, but for the AI world. And so our AI gateway infrastructure product now supports MCP as a first-class citizen in order to be able to power all the new agentic workflows that organizations are building these days.
You know, last time we chatted, we kind of riffed a little bit on MCP. We commented about how early it was. It was a really organic innovation from the community. De facto adoption, pretty much. What's the relevance of the first party citizen status of how you guys rolled that out? Take us through the thought process and some of the key considerations and what's the result?
Look, as organizations are building agents to either transform their internal business processes or to create new customer experiences in their products, they need to build agents that are autonomous, that have intelligence. And so typically that involves two things. Either we need to choose the models, the LLMs that we want to use to provide that intelligence. And then we need to connect our agents with an ecosystem of data, of services that is able to create capabilities for that agents in the first place. So you need the LLM and you need those integrations. The integrations these days are built using MCP. MCP is a new protocol that allows to effectively connect our AI agents with any data system or service that the organization is running internally to give capabilities to that agents. Because think about it, we could have the smartest agent in the world, and yet without an ecosystem of integrations that agent can use, the agent is going to be smart, but not very capable. So building those capabilities is as important as choosing the right model for the right intelligence. And MCP has emerged as the de facto standard, like you said, the USB-C that allows us to connect in a standard way our agents with our APIs in a real-time way, in a streamlined way. And so for us to be able to support MCP as a first-class citizen inside of the AI gateway, it means that we can now harness and leverage the AI gateway capabilities to provide governance on top of MCP, security on top of MCP, the ability to observe all of the MCP traffic, and the ability, most importantly, to auto-generate MCP servers from any RESTful API. Yeah. The time to market to bring an agent to market that is capable and intelligent, it is also determined by how quickly we can integrate our agent with that ecosystem of integrations. And so if we can auto-generate those MCP servers out of the box with just some simple configuration, with no coding, no R&D resources needed for doing that, then we can, of course, accelerate the agentic roadmap of pretty much every organization in the world.
Yeah, I was watching some of the coverage. Paul Nishwati from our CUBE research team was there, and a couple of notes I want to get your perspective on. One was AI connectivity was talked about. You mentioned ecosystem. You got to connect to other agents. Autonomous agents was a discussion. So I have to ask you, what has been the adoption, what's the sentiment at the event and also with your customers around the adoption of agentic? Has it been waiting for this moment? And you can't help think about the security implications of agents when you start thinking about the surface area. Because now, I mean, agents are agents, they're out there making decisions. What better way to get root access to an agent? These are kind of questions. What's your view on this? AI connectivity, You mentioned ecosystem, obviously the adoption and the role agents being secure.
Well, so the API Summit featured lots of presenters and customers of Kong that were talking to the audience, about all of their AI initiatives. So I would say that, half of the audience is very advanced when it comes to AI. The other half is still trying to figure it out. And figuring it out usually means understanding how to securely, to your point, expose our data to the agents, how to monitor and secure all of those agentic workflows that we're building. And we don't want our developers to build infrastructure. We want them to use AI infrastructure, which is why Kong is developing infrastructure products that allows organizations to accelerate the rollout of production-ready agents by effectively removing away all the security concerns and all the connectivity concerns from the bucket of responsibilities that developers have to implement and allow them to focus instead on what is that the agents should be doing while all of the infrastructure ships out of the box using our AI gateway. So that was a phenomenal API Summit because we could see the intersection of customers and organizations that are much farther ahead in their agentic roadmap. They have solved some of these problems, and we've seen all the other ones that are trying to figure it out. MIT says that 95% of AI implementations is currently failing in the world, and that is a huge number. But what's more interesting about that number is the 5% that do it right. And so at the API Summit, we brought our customers, we brought organizations that have done it right, and they were able to tell the audience how they were able to succeed in this new agentic world. Security is paramount. You cannot go live with an agent without security. There's a huge risk of customer data leaks, a huge risk of not having the right level of governance to ensure compliance in all of these new autonomous workflows that agents are doing. Yeah. Therefore, having the right infrastructure in place is absolutely task 1.1A. There is no chance anybody can think of agents without thinking of that. But once you think of that, and once you provide your infrastructure to the agents that you're building, then you want to ensure that the agents can harness a healthy ecosystem of integrations. And so we're looking at organizations that have been more forward-thinking into organizing their APIs, into having a catalog of APIs, being able to more quickly build agents because they know what every API does and what every API is. Yeah. And the other organizations that instead still are running in a siloed way, so APIs are spread across the organization, nobody really knows what they are. Those organizations are finding a much harder time to create capable agents because they don't know what the agents can do in the first place because everything is so scattered around the organization. And so it was a nice event where we were able to address the agentic topic, both from a practitioner operational standpoint, as well as from a strategic executive standpoint. Mm-hmm. And I think that everybody in the audience was able to take away lots of lessons on how to end up in the 5% that does it right, not the 95% that does it wrong.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of customers. We've talked in the past. That whole study, I debunked it. I mean, I didn't really like the study because, Thomas Edison had an expression, I failed 10,000 times. I failed 10,000 experiments before I discovered electricity. So failure is part of the experimentation, which has been the phase of AI and agents. So you mentioned that 5%. Is there a pattern that you see for the folks that have been successful on using AI and leveraging this wave one of agents? Again, you have a lot of customers. You guys are the API economy. Kong's install base is legendary, well documented. What are they telling you? What's the success pattern? Is there a playbook? Every customer can be a snowflake. I get that sometimes, but is there a pattern to success?
It is all about enabling innovation and creativity to run through the organization in a secure and safe manner. You see, many organizations have started AI native teams that were specialized in playing around with AI, building agents, find a use case for AI. And these teams, for the most part, have been quite autonomous. They have been almost kept separate from the rest of the platform teams and the engineering teams. As we identify the first use cases, we now want to bring back that opportunity to the rest of the organization because we want all the developers in the organization to start thinking AI, to start breathing AI, to start dreaming AI, and start dreaming on how we can revolutionize some of the things that we're doing in the organization today by harnessing AI. For that to happen, we need to start opening up the AI opportunity to a broader population of developers in the organization. And by definition of that, we need to ensure that we have the right infrastructure in place such as we have more people building AI agents, as we have more AI agents accessing our data, we know that we have the solid foundation where we can run all of these new agentic traffic. That means ensuring the connectivity between the agents and our APIs, using MCP, but also using REST. It means ensuring guardrails for both the AI prompts as well as security for the MCP servers that we create. It means I have full observability across the board on everything that the agents are doing, whether it's an LLM request or an MCP request. It means having the infrastructure in place, such as more and more developers in the organization can focus on the use case, can focus on how to make their organization better, how to make the customer experience better, and not focus as much on the cross-cutting requirements that the platform teams can put in place for them, right? So I think that the next stage for most organizations in the maturity journey of adopting AI agents, it is how to scale that opportunity across the organization. And there is no scaling without infrastructure, which is why Kong is here to help them putting modern AI infrastructure in place to be able to harness that opportunity. And look, if they don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. And somebody else is going to take advantage of the increased productivity and the increased retention rates and the increased engagements that these new AI experiences are doing in their respective products. So it's really feels almost like a zero-sum game. The ones that are able to harness AI are going to be exponentially accelerating their roadmaps, exponentially accelerating their efforts, and the ones that don't are going to be staying behind. Look, as the businesses moved from the yellow pages to the websites, from the websites to mobile, from mobile to the AI world, we can't miss this opportunity, and every organization understands that. So the question is, how do we scale AI and how do we scale securely in a much quicker and faster way? And the answer to that, it is infrastructure in order to enable developers to be successful.
That's awesome. Folks watching, check out all the releases and all the technology. A lot of product news to check out and details from the Kong's API Summit. Marco, great to have you on. You know, while I got you here, I want to pick your CTO brain. You mentioned infrastructure, kind of to wrap up the segment. You know, if you take this to the next level, you got physical AI coming behind agentic. And the edge devices are going to get smaller, faster, cheaper, and they have to be smarter, right? So if you're in retail, I'm going to need to have computer vision, I'm going to need to have models and AI agents helping edge models be smaller, faster, smarter. What's your vision as the edge? Because there's a lot of hardware and software innovation going on at the edge. That'll open up, you know, the event-driven architecture that you guys have. It'll probably open up a lot more intelligence for some of those needle-moving use cases. What's your, as CTO, what has to happen at the edge? Not just the access point. We're talking about devices. We're talking about my eyeglasses. I'm going to have my Ray-Bans on. I'm going to look at a product, or I'm in manufacturing, or I'm in healthcare. You're going to see a lot more digital integration. Just what's your vision on the edge? What has to happen? What do you see as cool and relevant?
Look, as a CTO, as a technologist in this industry, I have never been so excited about what's about to happen in our world. I mean, this is bigger, in my view, than the creation of the internet. Everything, every interaction, and robotics with AI. I mean, you said it. The combination of these two is going to fundamentally transform entire industries. And we are at a place in time, it's a singularity in time, where we, as the builders, you know, the technologists of this new world, can now establish the right tooling, the right protocols, the right standards, and the right technologies to get this world to actually happen. So it is an exciting moment to be alive. It's an exciting moment to be a builder in this new AI world. And look, AI is going to permeate everything. It starts from software, it starts from developer productivity, but it's absolutely going to permeate everything, including hardware and robotics and entire industry. Think of the construction industry, the retail industry. It's all going to change as a result of that. And like in every previous technology cycle, this is going to be one of those places in time where either organizations do it right or they'll miss the train. So the amount of investment and excitement in AI truly reflects the massive opportunity we have ahead of us when it comes to transforming everything in our world.
Marco, great to have you on. Love that vision. Again, we're covering like a blanket. We think there's going to be new devices coming out. And again, you need identity. Other things you guys do. Identity, event-driven architectures, of course, MCP and gateways to connect in and share. Agents talking to agents. It's the future. It's obvious. Thanks for spending the time. And hey, congratulations on the great event. The CUBE coverage was phenomenal. And again, you guys have a chock full of new stuff and stuff to go through. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, I'm John Furrier with theCUBE. We're here in our NYSE studios talking to the leaders who are making it happen. It's an infrastructure game, opening in the agent wave, ultimately connecting the world, which is physical AI, with all kinds of new capabilities. As Marco said, it's an exciting time to be here, and we're super excited too, and doing our part to bring the stories to you. Thanks for watching.